Okay, so it being 6:30, I want to bring this meeting August 8th, 2022 with Conservation Commission to order. Please note that in keeping with an act relative to extending certain state of emergency accommodations, this meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by commission members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count towards quorum. This meeting is being recorded, audio and video by ECAT, and should be available at a later time for viewing. Just for the purposes of establishing quorum, I just want to take a roll call on attendance. So we can start with Al.
Benson, present.
Ben Carroll, present.
Nate Crossman, present.
Mike Spady, present.
Rory Caulfield's present. So having established we have a quorum, let's proceed. Just a couple of things for the record here. First is butters notifications on any new hearings we have tonight have been verified, and we have them on file. Second thing is just for any members of the public that are potentially waiting for a couple of these continued hearings. We have requests to continue 4 hearings later on in the agenda. So I just want to be on the record right now so you don't have to hang around. 530, 550 Turnpike Street will be continued to 8/22. 534 Washington Street will be continued to 8/22. 91 Union Street will be continued to 8/22. 560 Foundry was already continued to 8/22, but that will also be on 8/22. And 121 Pine Street, we also received a request later on in the day to request that certificate of compliance to 8/22. So that will shorten our agenda significantly here. But I did want to get on the record with that. So
Really stinks for a afternoon in August to have a short agenda.
Hate it.
Just for the record, you know.
For the record, on 8/22, you will not be saying that to me. But we'll take them as we get them. 15 Longview Drive. This is a notice of intent for an upgrade of a single-family septic, retaining wall construction, fence reconfiguration, placement of a shed, and relocation of propane tanks. And we need Collins Engineering here.
Yeah, I tried to promote him twice. It didn't work.
He's being very resistant tonight, I think. Oh, here he comes.
I'm here. How we doing?
Hi, Peter.
I'm not resisting. I just didn't get the request, but I'm here now.
Excellent.
Let me pull the plan up.
Absolutely. So give us a brief overview, please.
Brief overview. All right. For the record, Peter Lyons with Collins Civil Engineering Group, representing the homeowner, Mr. Dennis Graff. We're here tonight for a couple things. The primary focus is repairing a failed septic system within the 50-foot buffer to the wetlands. We have a BVW that wraps around most of this site. Most of the site is a filled area, sloping down from the house to a wetland out back behind the patio and pool area. Existing septic tank is out in front of the house, and then it runs across the front and under the driveway to a leaching field. That's kind of tough to see, but it's more or less under the proposed location. So with this, we're gonna take the line coming out of the front of the house and run it across the driveway, a new line to a septic tank and pump chamber, and then we're proposing a pipe and stone leaching field, which will be slightly elevated on the southern end of the system, requiring an extension of an existing retaining wall. So due to the contours on the site, existing utilities, and landscaping walls. The most feasible option was to replace the existing leaching location. So that's why we're back on the right side of the yard. It does, however, put us pretty close to the BVW. It looks like we are 17 feet off flag 19. The tanks are just outside of the 50-foot buffer shown in the orange here. So most of this work is occurring inside or at the 50-foot buffer. We've proposed sedimentation control surrounding the entire project, going around the back and then up and along the street here. It does slope down, so we've kind of done a U shape with the sediment control to prevent anything from washing into the street. A couple of our normal items, we show silt sacks in the catch basins along Longview Drive. Our standard wetland notes are shown on the plan. We have sedimentation control details shown. We have dewatering pit details. As mentioned, we are doing a concrete block retaining wall. So we have some details of the block with some grades shown on that. Looks like it's going to be coming up about 2 feet on the street side of the system. What else? A couple other little things with this project. There's an existing propane tank behind the fence. It's all kind of tough to see. I'll see if I can move in a little. So we have an existing propane tank behind the fence that is piped back to the house. We're proposing to add an additional tank that's going to be above ground. So no excavation is required for that. That is just outside of our work limit. Additionally, we're trying to propose a shed, a storage shed for, you know, the pool stuff. We are aware that that's kind of tight to the wetland. It is in an existing lawn area, but we're trying to keep it out of the traffic area, you know, being the gates out to the pool. So we are proposing a 12 by 16 foot shed out here, which is included within the sedimentation control and work limit. This is a repair on a failed system. So the septic itself is going to be an improvement to the site and, you know, more beneficial to the resource areas. We are tight to the resource, so I'm sure the commission is going to have some questions on this. That's my semi-abbreviated rundown, and I'll take any questions now.
Okay, Jennifer?
I just have a couple things. During the inspection, there was some fill near wetland flag 19. You have a note on the plan that says it's to stabilize the wall support. Not really sure that's accurate. It's compost and dirt, and it was described as creating a path for the person to fill the propane tanks. It is fill right up against the wetland. The propane tanks could be moved to the inside of the fence to eliminate the need for anybody to be walking or, you know, any potential future accidental violations. Let's see. There's also an outfall near flag 17. Peter, do you know what that is?
I do not.
Okay. The shed, as Peter said, is closer than 50 feet to the wetland, but it is an existing lawn inside the fence. There's some old silt fence at the very toe of the slope, closer to wetland flags 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like when they first did the house under the original permit, they never took the sediment controls out. All of that silt fence should be removed. You did get a DEP file number today. DEP did have some comments, though. I don't know if you had a chance to read them, Peter.
I have not. I just received an email with the DEP number, but I did not get to read the comments yet.
Okay, so the comments are basically that there's a 50-foot setback from the septic system to wetlands under Title V, And Wetland Protection Act says as long as you meet Title V, the presumption is there won't be a negative impact, but you are closer. So do you want to describe how you're protecting the wetlands when you're much closer, and if you've been to the Board of Health yet?
As far as protecting the wetlands, I had already mentioned that we are proposing the sedimentation control around the whole site. It is an existing lawn area, so yeah, we will be excavating the existing system. That's all going to be removed.
Yeah.
The only short-term disturbance is the construction, and then, you know, pre and post construction, it's going to be a similar situation out there.
So that's addressing the construction portion, but if Title V requires the septic system and Wetland Protection Act requires the septic system to be more than 50 feet away, how are you protecting the wetlands with the effluent? Do you have a liner? Is there
Yep, there is a liner proposed. It starts about the distribution box and it wraps around. That's mostly for breakout concerns. We don't want, if it fails, we don't want it traveling horizontally towards the resource area. So that is one consideration. The other consideration is, you know, the repair itself. There's an existing failed system here right now. So the current situation is, you know, more detrimental than, you know, a newer 2-compartment septic tank and pump chamber, you know, to a pipe and stone system is going to be a lot better for the resource, you know, although it is within the 50-foot buffer. It's an improvement from the current situation.
okay? Have you been to the Board of Health yet?
I have not personally. I don't know if this has been before them. It wasn't on tonight's agenda, I don't think. So that may have already gone through. I don't have the answer to that.
Okay. DEP's other comment is to look at the map of wetland change. Looks like there may have been some wetland fill according to the DEP maps. So when you get the, when you have a chance to read the notice from DEP with the file number on it, just take a look at their 2 comments. You will need to address both of those to the commission and to DEP.
Okay. I see here a note regarding advanced treatment. I guess our response to that would be that, you know, we're not in a zone 2. We're providing the full water table separation. You know, we're not looking for local upgrade approvals from Board of Health, you know, which we would typically do to lower the system by a foot. So, I mean, we're basically meeting, you know, the straight Title V requirements. Additionally, we've noted that the wetlands, basically starting at flag 16 and wrapping up through 21, that's, you know, what we consider like a finger-like projection or somewhat man-made due to the surrounding fill. So, you know, I guess our comment that it wasn't a natural wetland, but based on the filling, it has become one. I don't know if the commission has any insight, you know, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think their comment is there's more wetland. I think their comment is there's less wetland. So you just need to compare the layer on Mass GIS with what you have. That's all.
Okay.
Thanks.
So, Peter, I think that after we address those, so Jen, did they say where the wetland, or just in general, the wetlands seem to be smaller than they were?
Just says, please investigate the status of this wetland change and whether it was authorized by the commission or not. And then it gives the address for, used to be Oliver, it's now Mass Mapper, and how to pull up that data layer to compare.
Okay. So I think that well, does anybody from the commission have a question before I chime in? So I guess the question is the fill on the exterior part of the wall, of the retaining wall, is, I mean, is there a specific quantifiable reason why we should not request and require that to be removed?
Is that a question for me or for the commission?
It's for you, Peter.
I'm not really familiar with it. I went back there quick to help one of our other guys locate the wetland flags. I do recall walking on some, unstabilized soils at the base of that wall. I don't think it's
It's up-
structurally necessary.
Yeah, it's to the top of the wall for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
for about 20, 25 feet maybe. It's to the top of the wall. It's not compacted much, but it's not loose soil either. So I mean, it's mixed soil and rocks as well. So, so the proposal from us would be we prefer to have the tanks on the inside of the fence and relocate those. Is there a reason why they couldn't be located behind the shed that's being proposed to sort of block the visual? I know they're on the other side of the fence for a visual reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if the commission is okay with the location of the fence, again, being in an existing, disturbed lawn area, we could move the tanks to behind the fence. I mean, to inside of the fence and between the shed, to get a little more separation to the wetland and also prevent, the need to access behind the fence in the future. Regarding the wall, I guess my only concern would be without knowing how deep that wall goes, obviously we don't want to damage like the footing or the support behind the wall to an extent. I'm sure a lot of the material could be stripped out, but we don't want to get down to, the footing because that's kind of relying on pressure from the backside to prevent it from, leaning in towards the wetland.
Yeah, it's just removing the recent stuff that was put there, you're not going below
Sure.
the grade that was already there. This is just some new stuff, that's all.
Any other comments from the commission? I see we've got, I think the homeowner wants to chime in here, so. I'm going to promote the homeowner. Mr. Graff, you can turn on your video and your audio.
There we go. Hi. Thanks,
Hi,
everybody.
can you just identify yourself for the record?
Yes, Dennis Graff, 15 Longview Drive. Yeah, sorry about that little bit of extra fill. There's a few wheelbarrows of dirt that my contractor took from digging footings for another project that was permitted. And I just asked them to spread it along existing fill just to make the path more even because it was very uneven to get to the propane tank. But there was already fill on the wetland side, the original fill on the wetland side, on the right side of that existing retention wall. So it's a few wheelbarrows. I don't have a problem removing that, but I still would like to be able to get behind the fence to maintain the fence. So I would still need a path all the way around the property behind the fence to like 2 feet, 3 feet.
Yeah, so walking in the property wouldn't be considered alteration. So I think you'd be okay on that side of things. If you needed to do any excavation to repair the fence, then you may need to come and ask Jennifer for an administrative approval on that side. But, certainly either walking around to inspect the fence or to do minor repairs to, replace a wood slat or anything along those lines, that's not alteration. So I think you'd be okay with that. So that's really not a problem. I wouldn't want you to create a path and maintain it, like go in there and weed whack it every month. I'd want you to do it as needed. I can't imagine, more than once a year having to go out there and do it.
Once a year is what I've been trying to do. I've already skipped this year. But now all that Virginia creeper, all those things are creeping over the fence. So I'd just like to weed whack a path once a year. And since there is a path, I'd rather, I'll be easy, but I'd rather not move the propane tank since it's already a path behind the fence for, to maintain the fence. So it's the same path that the propane guy would be walking down the tank. And then the new proposed tank is actually in front of it. The existing one is the one on the right in the back, and the proposed one would be between the fence and the existing one.
Anybody else have any comments?
What other reasons are there to go behind the fence aside from the propane?
To maintain the fence, to weed whack once a year. Because as the weeds go up against the fence, it'll shorten the life of it. And to be able to retrieve things that follow on the other side of the fence.
So,
And the propane tank is, I actually found some original plans of the house in the basement, but there's existing propane lines. I couldn't see a drawing with tank, but I'm pretty sure that propane tank is original with the house, so it must have been okayed back then.
okay, so the one propane tank has been approved. You're asking us to place a second one. I just want to be clear that there is alteration occurring now. So
so the second one would the existing one would be protecting the second one from the wetland, because it's not, it's even further away, I guess. Plus, there should be some separation between the propane tank and the shed, right? For security reasons, further away the better.
I'm not sure about that. Yeah, you see propane tanks right up against those houses all the time.
Isn't there like a 10-foot minimum distance? I thought I saw that somewhere, but.
So anyway, at this point, anything else, Mr. Graff, for us?
So, just wondering if it's okay to leave the existing tank there and go according to plan, basically. That's all.
Okay, so we'll have that discussion and make that determination at some point soon in the future here. I think we've got a couple things to handle administratively before we can even vote on this. So.
Sounds good. Thank
you. I appreciate the input and the insight and from your perspective of why you want to leave them where they are. So I appreciate you attending and that input.
And if there's anything else I can do to help out with anything, any sort of remediation, I'm happy to plant local species or something like that to so we all get something out of it, I guess.
Understood.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Okay, so I think we need to get additional information on this change in the wetland from Peter, right? Before we can proceed. I think we probably have enough information otherwise, but I think we have to have a better understanding of what that is. Correct? Anybody disagree with that?
I agree completely.
So
Yeah.
as much as we did want to make this a one and done, not somebody's, your screen's on, Peter, just so you know.
Okay, I was just gonna try to pull this up quick and see if we could answer this.
Well, I don't know that we're gonna be able to answer a question that DEP posed to you.
Sure. So, I mean, it sounds like they're just saying that their buffers,
No, you need to go to the DEP wetland change map.
wetland change map. Okay, yeah, I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, from my perspective, I don't think we're prepared to close tonight, Peter, so as much as we would like to.
Sure.
So I think we should continue to the infamous meeting on 8/22.
Yeah, can't wait.
So does somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
second,
Motion to continue to 8/22 Crossman, seconded by Benson. Roll call vote, please.
Benson, I.
Carol, I.
Grossman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Paul aye. Okay, so we will pick this back up on 8/22. Next up, Peter, if you, do we have any questions for 6 Cedar Drive or? Okay, so,
Okay. So I think that's all I got for you then.
thanks,
Thank you.
See you next time. Thank you.
thanks, bye. 530, 550 Turnpike Street, we have a request to continue to 8/22. Motion to continue 530, 550 Turnpike to 8/22.
Carol, second.
Caulfield's Carol second, roll call.
Benson, I.
Carol, I.
Grossman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Caulfield's aye. Next up, 534 Washington Street. Again, we have a motion to continue to 8/22. Motion to continue 534 Washington to 8/22.
Carol,
Spady.
second.
Carol with the second. Roll call vote.
Benson, I.
Carol, I.
Grossman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Caulfield's aye. 91 Union Street, we have another motion to continue to 8/22 for 91 Union Street.
Carol, second.
Caulfield's Carol second. Roll call vote.
Benson, I.
Carol, I.
Grossman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Caulfield's aye. 560 Foundry Street, again, we have a request from the applicant to continue to 8/22. I think it was already continued to 8/22, but let's just, because it's on the agenda, we'll do it again. A motion to continue 560 Foundry to 8/22.
Carol, second.
He snuck in.
Everybody wants to second.
Who gets it? Who gets it, Roy?
We're in a nice rhythm. Let's keep seconding those things. Let's keep selling those cars. Keep going. Keep moving.
Caulfield's Carol with the second. Roll call vote.
Benson, I.
Carol, I.
Grossman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Caulfield's aye. Next up, we have a certificate of compliance for 6 Cedar Drive. This was a septic upgrade. Any questions? I know you were looking for as-built. Did you get them?
Yes, we received it, so this was ready for a full certificate.
I didn't see any issues with this. Anybody have any questions? Anybody have a motion to issue a certificate of compliance?
Motion to issue a certificate of compliance.
Second.
Carol with the motion, Spady with the second. Roll call vote.
Benson, I.
Carol, I.
Grossman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Caulfield's aye. 121 Pine Street. I understand there's some technical issues here with some documentation.
Yeah, they just requested a continuance to 8/22.
Yeah, just as a comment, I was out at this property. It looks great. I know there's the paperwork might not be totally in order, but that stormwater basin in the back really, wow. So good for them. Motion to continue 121 Pine Street to 8/22.
Benson, second.
Nice job, Al. Roll call vote.
Benson, I.
Carol, I.
Grossman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Caulfield's aye. So that was Caulfield's, Benson second. We are going to table the meeting minutes. There were a bunch of changes that I had proposed over the weekend rather than sort of work off the copies we got. So we'll get a chance to review those at the next meeting. Environmental planner updates.
Just two. So our tenant at Tufts Farm is still in the process of moving out. We have changed the locks. He does have a key so he can continue cleaning. He said he needed a few more days. I don't know if this is something the commission wants to sort of set a little timeline.
Yes.
Okay.
Have
So
you been, have you been there yet?
no, I
so
just
I've
came
been-
back today to
Okay. I've been going like,
397 emails.
yeah, no, I get it. I've been sneaking in as much as possible, just trying to, because I know what's what, not to be like, know it all, but I've been watching. So, yeah, we need to definitely put a time frame. I think that's absolutely necessary.
Okay.
So do you have a suggested time frame, Mike?
There's a lot of stuff, so it's really up to us how much we want to be nice. That red barn that he has there, that has all it's loaded. When I tell you loaded, I mean I could show you a picture on my phone. It's kind of crappy, but it's loaded. The back towards like where the goats live, there's just a lot of farm paraphernalia, we'll call it. So I don't know what he's taking, and a lot of it's large equipment, and it seems impossible. You saw the motorcycle there. I'm not sure if anyone's even grabbed that yet. That got resurrected from the depths of the woods back there. There's a lot of large farm things. Let's just go with that. So I don't know what he's choosing, what he's not choosing. There's like 28 weed whackers. I don't know. Like, are you taking all those? Or are you taking 2 of those?
Well, they all personal property should be off there. There
Right.
shouldn't be anything left.
Then if that's the case, he's gonna need some time. There's a lot of stuff.
Would it make sense to facilitate the transition to maybe offer a dumpster?
Well, he had
Those
that.
lines.
He had a bunch of trucks there the other day.
Okay.
Help. I mean, I don't know what I don't know what he'll leave in our hands. Just a lot of stuff. Like, there's just so much stuff in that barn, like so many tools. I mean, it's insane.
But Jennifer, do you have a sense of how much additional time he thinks he's going to?
I don't. He asked Stephanie for a few extra days, but then I understand there may have been an incident with the car and an injury.
Really? When was this was this when we closed, which is then now 2 weeks ago? Because he left, like, was it last Tuesday when I sent you that original email when I went down there? That's when he was supposed to be out, right? And then last week was kind of like a given for him.
What I understood was the closing was on the 21st and you gave him till the end of the month.
Okay.
But then
No.
staff went and looked at it because I was away.
Right.
And changed the locks probably on the 1st.
Okay.
But that's when he said he needed some extra time. I don't have a problem with extra time, but I think we should probably set a.
So,
give him to the 20th.
I would prefer to give him to the 22nd since that's the day of today.
The Monday. Okay.
Well, that's the day we're postponing everything to today.
Oh, yes.
I agree.
Save it on the 22nd. Do it that day.
Yeah, I think 2 weeks is what we would expect at this point. So.
All right. My only one other issue. We have someone who is needing to do a wetland replication. They hired someone to go out and come up with the plan. They've already moved in, don't have a certificate of compliance yet. They have a partial and they've posted the bond. But the person they're hiring to do the wetland replication has come in and said, oh, the wetland boundary is wrong. I wouldn't change an approved wetland boundary on a plan, but I don't know how you guys would normally go with something like that. Obviously, you want the wetland replication to work and it needs to be near the wetland. I have no other information other than an email today or while I was gone, that said, we don't think the wetland is in the right place.
How dramatic of a change is it? Do you know? Just the email.
Given who is making the proposal, I'm not sure I agree
Okay.
without even seeing it.
Okay.
I mean, I'll go out and look at it. I just didn't know if that had come up before in the past, or if you were like, no, the wetland boundary was approved. That's the wetland boundary. You need to make it work. So
I don't think it's not come up in my 5+ years. So,
Okay.
you know, I think though that your thought process of make it work is probably the best approach. If there's something dramatic and you really think it's not in our best interest to do it that way, I'll trust you.
Okay.
But, you know, I think your instincts of try and make it work is probably the best for everyone, to be honest.
Okay. I mean, I'll get more information when I email them back and go out and look at it. Just, I didn't know if that had come up before, or if you were like, oh, okay, we'll take a look at your new wetland boundary, which is probably going to be a lot lower than what was approved, but.
Anything new on that enforcement issue? Not to go off track here.
The one that didn't attend last time?
Yeah, was that Pequannock?
Yeah. And there was an email asking for the Zoom information, so presumably he was prepared to attend. I did email him and say, you could be on the 8/22 agenda.
Maybe another 2 weeks won't kill us on that one.
Yeah.
That may help keep it shorter.
That's true. So I think, anything else, Jennifer?
Nope, I'm good.
So just for everybody, you know, 8/22 is pretty stacked at this point. I don't know how many of those will actually still come forward on 8/22. I do anticipate 560 coming forward, 560 Foundry coming forward on 8/22, and we should be prepared with whatever additional questions we might have. I think we've covered just about everything at this point. We went through waivers last time, and I think that was about the end of our discussion. I think there's some numbers that Jennifer and the applicants team are trying to get together and make sure we have the same numbers. But I think that's it. So just any questions about 560 Foundry, just be prepared is my suggestion.
And I assume that will probably be on YouTube by then, because that was the one I couldn't find. So
Should be.
Yeah, it just wasn't.
It wasn't on last night. So Nate does need to Mullins in on that. So
Yep, I'm
Okay.
sure I'll stay on it. I'll make sure it's gets done.
Just sort by most popular content on YouTube. You'll find it.
Yeah, it's like JoJo Siwa, ECAT,
Yeah.
Conservation Committee.
3 views.
So maybe a couple of meetings ago, I gave a draft order of conditions, very rough first draft. If you can take a peek at that and reply individually, don't reply all, obviously, but if you have comments or if you have conditions you think are important to add, then sending those ahead of time would be really helpful.
Do you have a reference to that?
I mean, I can just email it out again tomorrow if that
Might
makes
be better.
that easier. I'll do that.
Honestly, that would be helpful just so it's top of the inbox again.
great. Thank you, Jennifer. I do appreciate that. So reminding us. Anything else from anybody before we wrap this one up?
Just wondering if Jennifer's going to host like a meeting on mushrooms for us all.
Ooh,
Vacation
better.
talk. Yeah.
I've got my index cards all ready to be laminated.
Look how she started to glow when you said
I
that.
know.
Yeah.
We had a little who's the biggest dork contest, and I did win because I have my own laminator.
Right next to the label machine.
I don't have one of those.
Well, now we know what to get you for Christmas.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a label machine. You can borrow it.
I have like a Cricut machine. I can make things with that too. So
Ooh.
There you go. Now we're talking. Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Carol,
second.
Crossman with the second.
Getting competitive.
Roll call vote.
Benson, I.
Carol, I.
Grossman, I.
Spady, aye.
All fellows aye. Thank you all.
Later, guys.
Get your rest for the 22nd.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.